and welcome to today's Appy Hour, the ever fun topic of taking with Google Apps for EDU. Here today, we're going to start with you and your note-taking preferences in your devices and kind of take you through these different ways in which we collect notes. If you're good with the agenda, you can give me an emoticon in the chat. This is a strategy I use. It's a smiley face, you know, there's a zillion of them out there. I'm going to throw one in there. And since I can't see you and see you're nodding, I'll oftentimes ask, hey, are you ready to go? And if you are, give me a smiley face. If you're not, please put whatever it is you need to know in the chat. That we're burning desires for you about Appy Hour, you can throw in now. If not, you give me a chat, and I see Sylvia and Jill already or emoticon, excuse me. I see Sylvia and Jill already have. So I know we're kind of on the right pace. Please, at any point, if you have anything to share, to throw it in the chat. And your devices. And the you here is actually me. This is me in 8th grade. And it's not often that we dedicate an Appy Hour to a teacher, but I'd like to dedicate this one to Miss McCarthy. In 7th and 8th grade, she's my history teacher. And man, did this wonderful lady teach me how to outline. It's hands down the single best superpower I learned in school, and I don't think I would have graduated college, gone on to become a teacher without it myself. In fact, one of my students who I taught to outline as well grabbed me at a softball game this fall, hugged me, and told me that she teaches every one of her students outlining because it is that superpower. Note-taking will center around outlining tips and tricks to help your kids. It is the ultimate and transformative teaching skill you can give your kids. This is our integration continuum. We talk about this a lot in our Octo community. But infusion is that instruction where we give the kids, the teachers providing the learning context, and the students are choosing the right tools. Transformation kicks it up that next notch, where the students are choosing the tools they need to meet their goals. And there's not a lot that are studying superpowers out there, regardless of what device you do use, that are helpful for kids in outlining. So you and your devices, take notes. Imagine yourself sitting down and taking notes. In a lecture, maybe at a meeting, you need to capture something. What tool do you like to use best? Pick the tool and go ahead and throw it in the chat. That's for paper. I'm probably a split, a 2 or 4. Kate, I'm kind of falling in there with you. I like a desktop. That's always nice. I like a Chromebook. You know, some of the time that's really useful, and absolutely some of the time it's all paper, all the time, depending on what I do. And if we walk away with nothing else, your big picture moment here is knowing what type of notes working with kids want to do. Is it all capture? Is it designing? Is it writing? Is it creative? Making sure they have the right tool in their hand to do that is really important. Sometimes I use a Chromebook because, you know, my laptop went down. Sometimes I can't find a pen. So, oops, got it on the computer. Making sure our students know how to use all the tools, and when they work best, well, that's a life skill, and that's really transformative for them. So love that. And about that. Look about capturing information. And what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to share my screen with you, and you'll pop over to a Google Doc that everybody has access to, that you can all put your notes on. To use, we can all work on it together. Throw a link to that document in the chat, so you can go ahead and open it up and try out the things that I'm trying out with me. And my screen's going to shift real quick for a sec, and you'll see me and see my notes. Sometimes a smidge. Equivalent of breaking your pencil while taking notes. Sometimes it slows you down. and we cover. If you wish to ask questions, make comments, a digital norm is if you like something, you can give me an exclamation point. If you really like it, add more exclamation points. So roll your cursor to the top of the screen, and a little menu is going to pop down, and then you can click on chat, and then the chat will open up. I'd love to ask that everybody that I know you can find the chat, so if you found it, can you just give me an emoticon to let me know that you're here with me? Great. To my note-taking happy hour here. And the first little I'm going to give you is I want to make sure I hit all my key points. And your students are taking notes, you want to make sure they do too. So I did it in a very kind of a simple, very clean way. You guys as a group to see what this is right here. See where mouse is? I'm going to click on it and click off of it and click back on it. See that right here? How do I insert this square of like a picture on my page? What am I using? Go ahead. A couple guesses. What was going on there? Well, you know what it is? It looks like it got erased for me, so I'm going to make sure I sneak back and add it in. What I can show you, it's a drawing. Instead of adding text that says, these are things you're supposed to have in there where kids can copy and paste, or adding text there that they can then delete or kind of get rid of. Use drawing to throw key notes in the corner side or directions on any of your sheets. You could write, make sure to include. Now, I've thrown this nice little sketch list for myself to make sure I tell you everything. Adding little drawings with a reminder of what's supposed to be included is simple and it's effective for kids. You just clicking on insert, pops up, and you add in information. I invite you guys, if you want to do a drawing and put your name in it, I'm going to fill in my box orange. Halloween, folks. Go ahead and include a insert right now yourself on this document, a drawing. Then I love your choice of fonts there. Go ahead and insert a text box. Excuse me, drawing. This is a text box, a drawing with your name in it. You can edit it once it's there. You can go back in. Do what Lynn did. Lynn made yours look all fancy. I now have to pick a beautiful font too. Just like you would be in Word, you can kind of put it all in here. And you see, if I want to come in and look at Lynn's, I edit her boxes as well. Now click here. Boxes will disappear. Strategy number 1. Oh, Kate, yours was good there. Wait, I took it away as Kate came in, but I'm glad you got the hang of it, right? Fantastic. Okay, so the next thing, what's the next trick? Well, when you're outlining on a computer, it used to be kind of stodgy. It used to be an experience that was kind of, you had to, a lot of rules involved with outlining. If anybody out there was taught traditional outlining with the A's and the Roman numerals, you can give me a shout out. Yes, I was. You can even say thank you to the teacher who taught it to you or did not. Techniques come, as Sylvia agrees with me, these techniques are now easier than ever to embed. I'm going to insert a new break. I'm going to insert a page break for myself so I can kind of get down to a brand new clean page. And I'm myself to the left. And I'm going to show you how within Google itself, it's much easier to outline. So when you're taking notes and you write, at any point, this is the simplest trick I give you. Put just a hyphen. And if you do, Now have a list. And the basics behind outlining is just categorizing information. So typing away quickly, you now have a list. And then if you press Tab, yours moves over. Sylvia will attest, outlining when you have to know all your Roman numerals is complicated and convoluted, so stop doing it. It doesn't matter. The whole point is that you're just organizing information. Everything has a category and another category underneath it. And at any point, you can start organizing very simply by just pressing hyphen space. As I press Enter on my keyboard, my lining goes back and forth. Anytime I press over, then just press straight Enter. That's what I'm doing here. It goes back. Outlining, by organizing things in categories by pressing Tab. Go find some blank space in my document. You don't need my gorgeous, messiness right here. Go ahead and on the screen, press hyphen. And start typing. So Sylvia, right there, just start typing. People kind of get in the hang of it, and then if you press Enter after you've gotten it to hyphen, don't go up to the keyboard. Don't go up and press Indent. Instead, what you want to be doing is you just come up, Lynn, I'm going to delete you for a second there, forgive me. Come here, press one hyphen, space, and start typing. It works when you get that space in between and it starts to kind of pop over for you. So what you have to do is press one hyphen, and space. There you get popping. There you can see Lynn is doing a ton of them. All you have to do then is press the Tab key on the keyboard, and she moves over. And it will go back. She press Enter when she's done, and it will move her back one level. We've learned outlining. We all used to hold two fingers and indent over. This is the digital equivalent of indenting over and going backwards. You press Tab or you press Enter once you've started a list. Thing we can teach, not single most useful, but seriously, very useful for kids, is teaching them that they don't have to tab and they don't have to space things over. Typing on the fly much easier to organize. Pop different pieces in. I can also tell you that I can get more complex. So I said more complex. What do you mean? Well, you can come up here and pick up, and you'll see your traditional outlining. Please don't hate it. Give it a chance for love here. This is the one I was taught, so this is the one I click on. Now I'm going to start my outlining. Title. Oops, let me make sure it gets popped here. So here's my title. Then the same thing works for it. When I indent over, I get my beautiful outlining. So I press just Enter and then Tab over. Just Enter, it goes backwards. The whole point of outlining, and McCarthy, please forgive me, the A's and the Roman numeral ones and all that other stuff are not that important. When I talk to my students, once they got past, one told them to just bullet. It didn't matter anymore, I just told them to bullet and their existence, because it really, to me, it didn't matter. They just were organizing pieces of information. But if you're using the number system up here, so that's just this system right here. But if you're using the Roman numerals, you can pick whichever system matches, however you're taught, really, that's my suggestion, and then go through and do the same idea using the bulleting, using the traditional system. Go ahead, folks, give that a try. I'm going to put some extra spaces in here. Find a space somewhere in this document and set your computer to the Roman numerals and give it a try. And isn't it all learn how to not write over each other? At first, we're all kind of in the same space. And now we're, oh, wait, spread it out. So a numeral system you like best. And give it there. If you have questions, you can throw them in the chat. How do you start the Roman numeral? Come up to the top to where it says 1, 2, 3, a numbered list. Select the one that you like best. So this one because it looks like how I was taught to outline when I was a kid, right? But maybe you were taught with numbers or like the small letters. When you want, click on it. And you have to go like, I'll write title here. You might just start writing something and then pick that Roman numeral. And then when you do that, same rules. Title, then category, working the same way. Able to do all the tabbing, work just like and not least, on this kind of keystroke category, I just take a moment to throw into kids tab versus indent. Anyone who knows me knows that it's an easy way to annoy the pants off me to use Comic Sans font. It's just easy. But after Comic Sans, my next pet peeve of the world are people who want to indent. Like say you have a number 1, let's say my name, and I want it to be over, keep a space, by people who tab. Mean to tab. So let me put in some fake text here. I want to tab it over, so but instead of using indent, which is this key up here and moves it all over, they tab. And then at work, they go through the process of trying to tab and space everything out. And do this. It means they don't know how to use the computer. They don't know how to use the right things appropriately. If you want to indent information over and the whole paragraph goes over, make sure they know to use indent. If they're just getting the first paragraph, line of a paragraph, that's when they use tab. And believe it or not, just like a ton of kids didn't know you held shift to capitalize letters, they kept pressing caps lock, a lot of kids and grown-ups out there will use spacing or tabbing over these tools. So you may experience that with your kids. It's worth a sentence and clear up, especially elementary folks out there. You do it early, I don't have to do it later. And that's a trade I'm willing to make. Another cool tip, trick, and other assorted piece out there when you're organizing your writing. You want to make sure you can get to what you're talking about quickly. So if you've never done it before, it's new to you, you can say new. If it's old hat, give me a smiley face. But up here, when you format your text, there's a handy list of different types: title, heading 1, heading 2, heading 3. Right? Look like this. Yours probably look different because I set them this way. I want it to be this font or that font or those pieces. So, heading 1. And I could come up here and decide to make this really big and a size font every time I want to change title. Or I could come down here and shift it all around. But that's a pain. So instead, what these do is they automatically set and format my text to look like what it should look like. Organization. Change the overall look and feel, it changes everything in the document. Now, handy because if you have students who take notes all in one document, lots and lots of note pages, they might make one notes guide for the entire unit. Well, this way, at the very top, they can make hyperlinks within their documents to get to where they want to go first. So this is really topic 1, and this topic 2. I'm up here at the very top of my document and write title, topic 1, topic 2, topic 3. I can hyperlink by clicking the little link guy right here. It looks a little like insert a link. Some people tell me handcuffs. It's references. You click on it, and then click on headings. This is like bookmarks back in the day. If you were ever one of those people who did any kind of coding, we called these bookmarks. I think that was Netscape. So I'm dating myself. You're welcome when I look. But you come here to topic 2. You click on little links. You pick headings, and I pick topic 2. Now, of course, you should actually click on it. I pick my heading number 2 and apply. Now, even if I sent these topics way down the page, when I come to my notes, I can click on topic 1, heading 1, and I popped right here to where add notes. You, the teacher, could supply students with a template that has all the topics you're going to talk about, if you know what they're going to be, different unit or different objectives, and already link it for them. Then they just have to fill in the content, not worry about taking the time with the organization to teach it to kids. Because they may have the support and scaffolding they need for note-taking in your class, but they may leave us and move on. So it helps transform the practice from years from now. Now, I'm actually going to undo my hyperlinks here. I'm going to remove them. And pick one of my hyperlinks up here. I've got 3 in there, and I'm going to make one more for you guys up here. Topic 4. Go ahead and pick one of mine and link to it. So give that a good try. That one right here, I click on it and it pops down to the heading. So I'm able to get to my notes quickly and efficiently. So whatever text you type, topic awesome, gets cited, and you make it one of your headings. When the heading, you can come up here and highlight the text, click on a little link guy, and pick them. And when you come in on any of these guys, like topic 2 here, you can click, and it'll take you directly to it. One of the problems folks have been telling us is kids have their notes in so many different digital documents, it takes too long for them to find everything. So putting all notes in one location and using headings to link to it is just an efficiency tool your kids will really appreciate. Pop myself back to my list of fun tips and techniques. Isn't kind of neat? I can always keep going back to revision history and be like, okay, where am I in the revision history? So I can keep myself on track with you all. Because my next technique I find really fun. And using a tool called Google Voice. If you've ever used it, give me a yes in the chat. If you haven't, get ready to give me at least, I think, 1 exclamation point. But if you like it a lot, Voice does. You click on your microphone, and period, new paragraph. And what Google Voice is going to do for you is translate everything you're saying verbally into text, period. You can do all your little shifting. You can go in and make changes in the text or the font. Keep recording it for you. So this is what Voice does. Google allows you to type without using your hands, period. New paragraph. It also allows you to use common conventions like periods. New paragraph. A hand notes is those of you guys out there who love to take notes by hand, comma, take your notes and dictate them to the computer quickly, period. If you convince students that this is a good technique for organizing their information digitally, comma, you're also tricking them into studying, period. Because exactly what we want them to do with their notes, go back and review them. So having a strategy where if kids do write things by hand, they take their notes and turn it digitally, well, voice typing does that. And since it's a novel experience and it helps kids say everything they learned, it actually helps them remember stuff. So that's voice typing. If you haven't about anything I've shown you, give me a smiley face. And if not, oh, yay, I got some exclamation points there, which makes me very happy. Our next part, which just is to focus on collaborative note-taking. You know what? It's not easy to take notes with other people. We don't look at us. When we first started the training today, we all weren't sure where to type because we were kind of on top of each other. But by 5 minutes in it, we started to have our rhythms and our routines. The thing I have to say, if you're going to get kids to take notes together, is know that it is a process of teaching them how to play nice and be the one to give those strategies and techniques. You need to help them learn how to be nice, civil human beings online. My first strategy for that is give a division of labor. I don't necessarily mean, although it's not a bad strategy, divide who takes what notes. Say someone's doing, one person's doing social, one person does economic notes, very social studies-y. Sure, your discipline has some equivalent of this. It's saying, oh, well, you know, Maddie, you do social, and Joe, you do economic, and Carrie, you do political. Well, easy for you to, you know, if I said, Jill, you're social, write something. If I said, Sylvia, you're economic, and Lynn, you're political, you could write something in these columns, and we wouldn't write all over each other. To this strategy with collaborative note-taking. And that is, you only listen to the part you were assigned. We're giving students roles. Everybody's responsible for social, economic, and political. But maybe one person is responsible for looking for certain types of details or facts. Maybe another person is responsible for editing what the other person writes. So one person writes, one person spell checks. You know, maybe one person just does all the notes straight. So they have to just write things down, and another person's job to organize the notes as they go. So another person comes in and says, oh, categories, I'm going to indent this because it's a category. So when you're teaching, the key behind it is when you're teaching kids how to take notes together, give them different rules to play. And afterwards, make sure they reflect about what worked, what didn't work, what did they like. And that way, they'll begin to think about how they work and take notes and learn from their own practice to become better at it later on. I think them secret, sneaky superpowers to life, taking is all about. I'm going to put my notes here for 1 second and delete this one out. The collaborative note-taking is it's really good to know who did what. So sometimes you don't have to give a lot of rules other than ensuring everyone works. But if you use arrow on your side of your screen, excuse me, I'm going to get that up. It's called suggestion mode, and I'm going to invite everybody to turn this on right now. My screen's just a little too fast here. I'm going to ask everyone to turn on suggestion mode. So come over to the side, turn on suggestion mode, and write one thing in each of these categories. All right. It looks to me, the way it looks, yours looks to you, as if I'm writing with little bars over top of it. And when I click on it, I can see her, she's pink. Or Jill typing in there and putting theirs in, they're going to have a different color. And what's really cool is I can see what's writing. I know notes are what. So if you're wanting kids to take notes together, are not just doing parts, right? Everybody take notes, gather things as you go. I can see what everybody's doing. So this way, and you know what else? I don't really need to even say it. They see it. It's obvious who's doing work and who isn't, that it's highly motivational, and you really get rid of a lot of this, they didn't do any work, because it's obvious if you didn't write anything on the screen. Not only that, I've done a lot with my revision. You can also look at the revision history and see who's doing what when. And just from this, you can see we've all been in this document, we've all been doing stuff, right? That revision history can also help you. And collaborative, and I think it's a great way to go. This is a nice strategy for doing so. Throw them in the chat if you don't. Smiley face. I started by saying, hey, you and your devices, know your preferences and match the right device to the right moment. It's also important for your students to know their preferences and their right device for the moment. You want to make sure you can capture information? Well, review it, that's that voice typing. And a third piece where you're also situational, right? So what is, sometimes notes aren't always about listening to a lecture. Notes are about being somewhere and needing to see something. I have to admit, one of my strategies, which my young children have called me out on a little bit, is when I write down recipes, I write them in the back of cookbooks. If anyone else loves Pioneer Woman, I love Pioneer Woman's cookbook. And I write all my recipes that I get off her blog or really anywhere in that cookbook. That way I can always find it, because it's situational. If I want to cook something, I pull out the cookbook and I look at the back pages. Of course, I explain this to the 5-year-old. That doesn't mean she should color in my cookbooks. It means I'm writing recipes in my cookbooks. Well, guess what? There's a digital equivalent to that. And this is where I'm going to pull Lynn on to introduce us to one of her favorite apps out there. We're going to model how you find it in the Google Chrome store and also how it works for you. So hop on the line while I switch the screen and share this cool technique.
Absolutely. So I actually came across this little guy when I was doing some research on how to help take notes if they're taking an online course. And well, sometimes you go to different pages and and maybe you just want to make a note on the page so when you come back next time, you can remember whatever was important on that page. So we actually found this little, it's an extension, so it'll sit at the top of your page. Wait,
it comes up. If they're looking for it, I wanted to model kind of the whole way. I'm gonna type in Chrome Web Store. And what's the name of it again?
Anywhere.
You could do the same thing while we're demoing it if you want to. If not, you can always do it afterwards.
And actually, I'm going to throw it right on our suggestion mode page. Because Google works on web pages, you can actually add a note anywhere to that web page if you want to. And just say this is a reminder. So,
So what they see on the screen right now is they see Note Anywhere. If it comes up in the Chrome store, they just have to click Add to Chrome. When it does that, any extension, because this is an extension, I'm going to say yes, I want to do that. And what happens is it pops up here on the top of your screen. So you're like, oh, yay, it's going to pop right up here. It's going to be on every web page you go to.
Yep, available. Correct.
And so with all deliberate speed, yay, it has popped up for me. And now let's go look for my favorite. I'll look for good old Teddy Roosevelt. And see him here on, there's his page. So now what happens next?
Well, say you've done research on Teddy Roosevelt and you really like this particular web page, and so you're going to bookmark this web page by just clicking the little star. Yep. And then you can drop notes on this page. So you can put it, click on it. It'll pop onto the screen, take some notes. Move the note anywhere you want. So you can move it anywhere on the screen. It is mobile. And so you can have it wherever it works for you. And leave the page. Go away. Say goodbye. Just go out of the page. And then the next time you go back to that exact same page, your note will still be there. So it's very useful for students. It kind of helps them. It's just like they were doing it on paper. So you might put sticky notes on actual papers. Don't you worry. Yep, there you go. The other thing is that it should be giving you a little note in the extension up at the top how many sticky notes you have on a website. So there you go. So now you have 2. So it helps you keep notes, as you will, how many notes you've made on a page. And then when you're done with them, you see the little X in the upper left-hand corner. You just click that X and bye-bye note, and it's gone. Really fast, easy to use extension that can have a really useful purpose for students and teachers.
You know why you liked this last year, but you come all the way back around. Why did I want the site again? Oh, I had a great idea, and I threw my sticky note up, and now I remember it.
Exactly. And again, because you are working in web pages in Google, you can actually use it on your documents as well. So.
And let's throw one more thing at you, super fun, before we go. And that is, as promised, I had a sneaky technique to make sub-days go better. Now, I have to admit, back in the day, at one point or another, there was this great video series called The Americans. It was just great. And sometimes you just needed that desperate sub-plan. So I used to tell my students that they had to take notes because I taught them how to outline. They knew how to do so. They have it all there, right? And the standard I was looking for, I would hold up an envelope a la Carson. I'm that old.
Television.
950 years ago. There's anybody in the chat, the most famous, thank you, Johnny, Sylvia, goodness bless you. Johnny Carson used to hold this envelope up to his head, and he played Karnak back in the day, and I would hold an envelope up to my head. Thank you, and I would tell them Carmack, I would call myself Ms. Demora the Magnificent, and I would tell them if they wrote down the one note in my envelope, they would get full credit for notes while I was gone. And honestly, it was one of those best, like you're just desperate. They would take so many notes. It'd be like all over the place because they would hit my one note. And my one note was seriously like the point of the video. Yeah. The 1920s happened, but it was a great strategy. So I have a digital version of that with you. If you don't use it, at least you can get a good chuckle out of it. I did a quick form that asks the kids, once they're done, to write the title of their notes and their A, B, C, and D. Then drop a copy of all their notes in the chat. So what I've done here, if they're understanding how to categorize information, the A, the B, and the C, when they submit it, is going to make a whole lot of sense. It should be pretty common. In fact, I can show the kids the results after I'm done, and they can see if they're really getting it or not. If it doesn't look right and I want to give them credit, I can look at the notes themselves, but I really don't have to. If I skim the list of their notes, I'll know if they're getting it and if they're not getting it, if they can organize that information. We can come here and view the responses all together. So it's a really efficient way. Plus, it has the kids, helps them accountable. Their notes can look in any which way they want, and I can kind of capture this high-level version of the information right here from the list. And then their own responses against what their peers said. So if you're looking for something fun, hey, a little form at the end that asks them where are their categories, not a bad idea. Give it a try. Have to be Karnak the Magnificent when it comes to remembering how to do everything we told you today. First off, we have support for you. It's available. You can come back and check this. We will be recording, or we're recording. We've been recording the whole time so that you can come back and see everything that we've done. Let me get to B. I just got blank. You can come back and check out any of these sessions later. Also know that every one of your schools has an instructional technology specialist assigned to it. So you can contact your specialist. We'll come out and help you with anything you see today. And if you're, when in doubt, Google it. We find a lot of information all the time just by Googling. You can do the same thing. And if you have a copy of it, there's another really great course out there. My colleagues Lynn and Lisa put together a monthly newsletter. This newsletter has all the really cool stuff that you may want to see, and so you can check it out and get some cool tips and strategies sent just to you. I have one more link to throw in the chat, and that link is actually to our feedback sheet. Please, by all means, give us some feedback. Let us know if we did a good job, and have a great day. And every connecting rockstar instruction with really cool apps.